Hey guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com doing a quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcements the week ending May 21st, 2018. This is episode number 148 of the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from NeoWiz Games regarding Bless Online. Remember last week we talked all about the drama surrounding Founders Packs? Well, it looks like NeoWiz listened to some of the player outrage and made some changes to the Founders Packs. Most notably, they reduced the price of the top tier pack from $199 to $149, and they also removed the whole premium customer support from them. Bless Online itself is set to launch the early access for founders on May 28th and May 30th for everyone else, so the game is right around the corner. NeoWiz also revealed some info about what's included in their monthly optional subscription, which seems to be mostly convenience related, but the most bizarre part of their post discussing the monthly sub was that the monthly sub isn't a subscription product, which is kind of counterintuitive because how on earth can a monthly sub not be a subscription product? Anyway, definitely check out the Bless post on Steam if you want to learn more. They also showed off some of the founders mounts and other goodies coming out. Anyways, moving right along, we have some big news for Lost Ark, the highly anticipated isometric MMORPG from Smilegate. The game will be entering its third and final round of closed beta testing on May 23rd in South Korea. I expect they'll be doing their open beta later this year, and we'll finally start hearing about an English release sometime in 2019, hopefully. This latest round of beta testing lasts until June 3rd, and the game also includes some big graphical improvements. Lost Ark has been a pretty hyped game since it was first revealed back in 2015, and I know a lot of people are eager to get their hands on it, so hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer. It's good to see them making progress at least. Next up, Kurtzpel showed off a couple of new videos this week highlighting some of the game's PvE content. Kurtzpel, for those that don't know, is an upcoming PvP-focused MMORPG from COG Games, the studio best known for Elsword and Grand Chase. I expect that they released some new PvE videos to dispel the notion that the game is strictly about PvP. While Kurtzpel will definitely be mostly about PvP, the game will also feature some co-op PvE missions as well, where two players can battle bosses together in instance arenas. I actually like the visuals in this game, but there's not too much to get hyped about just yet, as it's still in development and likely won't get a beta anytime soon, even in South Korea. So any kind of English release date is still well over a year away. Up next, some pretty big news this week for Blade & Soul. The game revealed their newest class this week, the Tucson, which wields giant greatswords and has high attack and defensive stats. And he's out to be rolling out the new class in the Korean version of Blade & Soul on June 14th, which is actually my brother's birthday. Besides the new class though, the June 14th update includes a new job extension system, which gives endgame players new ways to progress their characters. The Warlock class, for example, can advance into the Distortionist to unlock new goodies. No word on when this update rolls out in the Western version of the game though, but hopefully we don't have to wait too long for it here in the West. Next, a bit of news that happened just after I put up last week's recap. Bosky Studios, the company behind Lawbreakers and Radical Heights, is shutting down. Cliff Bleszinski posted on his Twitter account that the studio is basically no more, and that Radical Heights was their last-ditch effort to create a viable product, and the game has been a bust. Anyone who's followed this saga should have seen this one coming. Lawbreakers was averaging about 3 or so players online at a given time on Steam, which certainly isn't enough to keep the studio afloat. No word on when the exact shutdown will happen, but Cliffy B has said that Radical Heights servers will remain up for the near future. I still think they should have at least tried to make it free to play, but rest in pepperoni, Bosky Studios. Moving right along, Trine Worlds announced their latest expansion to the voxel-based MMO Trove, titled Geode, which will be launching on June 26th and will feature an entirely new planet. The expansion will be exploration-focused and will be launching alongside Trove's Bomber Royale 20-player Battle Royale mode as well. Those interested in the upcoming expansion can playtest it right now on the game's public test realm. Up next, Tera launched their Gilded Mask update this last week, which introduced a new 5-man level 65 dungeon titled Red Refuge, as well as revealed new information about the Valkyrian Federation. The update is also called Gilded Mask because players can finally put that mask slot to use. Alongside this update, InMask is also hosting a Tera X Attack on Titan collaboration event, which lasts until May 29th, where players can buy Attack on Titan themed outfits and emotes, which you can see in the video in the background, and they actually look pretty decent. Next up, some pretty big news for Black Desert Online. The game's Lawn class will be playable on May 23rd, with it available to create in character creation right now. Aside from introducing Lawn, the May 23rd update will also bring with it a host of other changes, including class changes, PvP tweaks, and more. There's also a bunch of in-game events going on to celebrate Lawn's launch, so make sure to check those out. BDO still averages 13,900 players online at once on Steam alone, making it one of the most popular MMORPGs on the platform. BDO is still a huge game. If you never tried it, it's definitely worth checking out. And speaking of Steam MMORPGs, Albion Online finally launched on Steam this week. We mentioned it last week, so I'll keep it short. It peaked at about 2,800 or so players on Steam this weekend, which means that the Steam launch brought with it a good chunk of new players. If you like PvP MMOs with full loot, this one is well worth checking out. It drew a lot of inspiration from oldies like Ultima Online and RuneScape, but with a lot less focus on PvE and more PvP focused. Next, a small update for an oldie. RF Online launched a new server this last week titled Pegasus, and it's the first server with the 4.25 update, which features changes to the game's leveling curve, as well as new quests, a new map, and a bunch of other goodies. RF Online launched back in 2004 as a subscription MMORPG, but has long since went free to play. It's bounced a lot between publishers and for a long time was self-published, but is now available through Red Fox Games. It'll be hard to get into it if you never played, but if you played RF back in the day, maybe now is a good time to go back and try it again because they do have that new server. Next, Elder Scrolls Online's latest expansion, Somerset, went live today with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions launching on June 4th. The expansion adds a ton of goodies to the game, namely 6 new world bosses, 2 new dungeons, 6 new delves, new main story quests, and much more. And as with the previous expansion, Somerset is available for $29.99. If you ever played Elder Scrolls Online, it's definitely one of the more popular, newer MMORPGs from the West, and it's actually still really popular on Steam, so if you never played it, it's worth checking out. The next and last bit of news this week is related to Fortnite. Tencent released their own earnings report this last week, and with it was an interesting nugget of information. Fortnite now has over 40 million monthly active users, which is incredibly impressive. To put that number into context, League of Legends, the most popular PC game in the world, has about 100 million monthly active users, with Dota 2 and CSGO at about 10 to 11 million each. Keep in mind though, Fortnite's 40 million figure is for PC and console only, and it isn't including mobile users. And given how Fortnite is still relatively new compared to these other big games, it's quite possible that Fortnite could overtake League of Legends in popularity, especially once it launches in China and if it can maintain its momentum. But yeah, that's it for MMO news this week, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for the podcast. Later, guys.